It's TrainMaxxer. Keep getting a bunch of news stories on my phone, and I keep meaning to share them on a live stream, but can't figure out how to do that with my phone, because StreamYards won't let me present. But I did figure out how to do screen capture just in video form here, so maybe we'll try this. Alright, this sounds interesting. Man rescued from National Park heat after his skin melted off. Let's check that out. Death Valley, it looks like. Yeah, I could believe that, maybe. By WKRC, July 28th. Okay. Alright, Death Valley, California. A man was rescued from the oppressive heat of one of the country's hottest national parks after the skin melted off his feet. It's not a secret that this summer has been particularly warm, with the season even setting historical records for its suffocating heat. Yeah, it actually hasn't been that warm here. Normally, our pears would be a couple of weeks away from being ripe, and they're just tiny this year. That tree does need to be pruned extensively. I think that'll help, but the summer's been pretty late getting started here. Just around here. You might think you have it bad, but there's almost certainly always... That seems to be badly worded. You might think you have it bad, but there's almost certainly always somewhere hotter. Well, that's true. I misread that for some reason. California's Death Valley, for example, hit 123 degrees Fahrenheit on the 20th of July. And that was just the air temperature. The sprawling dunes would have been even hotter than the already absurd temperature. These appear to be dunes from down there. That's why it was a genuine problem for a 42-year-old Belgian tourist when he lost his flip-flops in the sand. His family called authorities for help, and other parkgoers helped carry the tourist to the parking lot. Authorities reported the tourist suffered third-degree full-thickness burns on his feet. A national park ranger said the skin was, quote, melted off his foot. The park rangers instantly recognized the man required a hospital, but Death Valley was so hot that it was dangerous for a helicopter to land. Wow, that's crazy. The rangers had to drive the tourist to a higher elevation in an ambulance, where a helicopter received the man and took him to a hospital. Park rangers gave some advice to those interested in visiting Death Valley during the heat. Stay within a 10-minute walk of a vehicle with air conditioning. Do not hike after 10 a.m. Drink plenty of water. Eat salty snacks. Yeah, I guess because you'd sweat out salt, huh? Wear protection, hat, and sunscreen. Alright, it's all good advice if you're going to be out in the heat. For sure. Alright, let's see what else. That looked like the end of the story. This looks like clickbait. Countdown begins. Could Beetlejuice go supernova tomorrow? Let's see. Don't bullshit me.
It's recent dimming. This could mean it's about to go supernova, an event that could happen anytime within the next 10,000 years, or possibly even tomorrow. But what does this mean?
10,000 years or tomorrow. That's a pretty big difference.
Mean for us on Earth? In this video, we'll explore the signs of Betelgeuse going supernova, the expected brightness and visibility from our vantage point, and also other supernovae that lit and will light up the sky during our lifetime.
Okay, this is going to be a boring video. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a vampire. I'm not going to be living 10,000 years from now. Yeah, that's a long window. And where I live, it's usually foggy at night anyway this time of year. So, I don't think I would see it even if it occurred, which is unfortunate. If it occurred, I would want to see it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to look like the thumbnail. I don't think it's going to look like that thumbnail. Stop using unsafe kitchen spice, FDA warns. All right, let's check that out. Excuse me, Ventimaxing. By Pandora D1. That's an interesting name. Is there a video or a picture? Guess not. Health officials have urged consumers to stop using and dispose of ground cinnamon products by the brand El Salvador after finding elevated levels of lead in the product. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has said that exposure to these concentrations may be, quote, unsafe, particularly for babies and young children. Based on FDA's assessment, consuming this product is likely to contribute to elevated levels of lead in the blood, especially in babies and young children, the agency said in a statement. Lead is a naturally occurring toxic metal that can replace the calcium in our bones and teeth and can be stored in our bodies for decades after initial exposure. Over time, this heavy metal can accumulate and may be released back into our blood. The metal has been associated with a range of neurological and cardiovascular conditions, as well as problems with our kidneys, our blood, immune system, and reproductive health. Short-term exposure to elevated lead could result in the following symptoms: headache, abdominal pain / colic, vomiting, and anemia, the FDA said. Longer-term exposure to elevated lead could result in the following additional symptoms: irritability, lethargy, fatigue, muscle aches or muscle prickling / burning, constipation, difficulty concentrating / muscular weakness, tremor, and weight loss. Of course, the risk posed by eating lead-contaminated foods will vary depending on the concentration, how much you eat, and the age of the consumer. However, while lead levels in the El Salvador cinnamon are relatively low, 20 parts per million, the FDA states that there is no known safe level of lead exposure. The FDA is continuing an investigation to analyze and review cinnamon samples around the U.S. and has recommended that the distributor voluntarily recall the product. Meanwhile, it has warned customers to stop using and dispose of El Salvador ground cinnamon until the issue is resolved. Newsweek has contacted the FDA for further information. I'll have to check. I don't think we have any of that brand. I don't think I've ever even heard of this brand. I know we've got some ground cinnamon and a little bit of cinnamon sugar, but I don't think it's this brand. So yeah, if you got this El Salvador brand of ground cinnamon, you might want to throw that out. If there's suspicion that someone has been exposed to elevated levels of lead, talk to your healthcare provider, the FDA said. Most people have no obvious immediate symptoms of lead exposure. The FDA added that a healthy, balanced diet can help protect against some of the health effects of lead exposure. Eating a variety of healthy foods can make it less likely for an individual to be exposed to the same contaminant from the same food many times and helps to provide the range of nutrients needed for health and, for children, healthy development. Having adequate nutrients stored in the body can also help to prevent lead from having harmful effects. And that appears to be the end of the story, I think. Yeah, okay. I checked this out earlier. I think it's an advertisement. Yeah, it's an advertisement. But there was one picture I wanted to pull up because I thought it was a cool looking building. This is a company that's trying to recycle plastic, I guess. Yeah, this here. This is a really neat looking building. This would be fun to model, like on a model layout or something. This would be really interesting. It'd be a difficult model to make, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have something like that. Anyway, just thought I'd share that. And this was clickbait too. I wanted to see some Fallout fans getting mad because Fallout 5 is being delayed again, but really it wasn't that much of a roast. Well, anyway, I think we're going to stop it there. And hopefully this was a successful test run.